Hello, welcome to this session. We're going to be talking about a real estate math problem dealing with the income approach. Okay. So there's two versions. One is a short version, the other one's a long version. You may have either on the test, and you want to recognize it with the verbiage in the question. But you want to know how to work both out. I'm going to show you that in great detail today. My name is John Enzing. I'm a certified real estate instructor. I'm licensed both in Louisiana and Florida. If you need some help, my specialty is private tutoring to help you prep for the exam. You can go to privateturingsession.com. That's privateturingsession.com and book an appointment or email me at john.enzing@gmail.com. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Income approach. Now, you may get a problem that looks like this, okay? So you got an apartment building. It's got 10 units. They rent for $600 each. You got a vacancy rate of 5% year after year. The total operating expenses are $2,000 per month. If you got a capitalization rate or a cap rate of 10%, what's the value of the property? Now, remember, looking at this, you ought to recognize by now, theory-wise, this is an income approach, how an appraiser evaluates this type of property. Remember the three types of appraisals: sales comparison, cost approach, and the income approach, okay? The income approach is when the appraiser has more than 4 units, okay? So 5, 6, 7, in this case, 10 units. So more than 4 units, the appraiser has to use an income approach to evaluate the building to see what it's worth as far as appraisal value based on income produced, called net operating income. And I'm going to show you that in great detail in the calculation. Now, this is a very, very urgent message right here. Make note of this. You have to annualize all your calculations. If you see the rent's $600 per month. You see the operating expenses, $2,000 per month. So everything has to be annualized to work this out correctly. Now, here's a play on words. They know that there's a lot of opportunity to make mistakes, like annualizing is a mistake that can be made, not working the problem out line by line, making one mistake. So what do? They put a none of the above answer in there, okay? None of the above is a very easy answer to select if you miss one step. So you got to be careful and work this out in great detail. And I'm going to be a little bit more specific as we go. Now, here's a memory aid that we have called Please Visit Every Other Night. This was passed on to me when I was a student by an instructor. A great memory aid. This is the long version memory aid that goes with a problem like this. This is the long version, okay? Now, when you get to the end of the long version, you convert it to a short version, and I'll be more specific here shortly. Please visit every other night. Great memory aid, not very difficult to remember. And I'm going to explain each letter when we work the problem out. Now, let me circle back. Here's the yellow pad that I'm going to use today in our example of the problem we work out. But you ought to be taking your pencil and calculator to a scratch pad, okay? Now, what works for me is I'm going to write everything out verbatim as I see it on this pad if I'm taking a real test. Remember, none of the above is an answer they give you, which means if you miss one step, you're not going to get the correct answer. That means you're going to select none of the above, which is not going to be the correct answer. Okay, so my advice to you, get a piece of paper out on the state exam and write this down verbatim. First thing I do, I'm going to write down, please visit every other night. Remember, this is about a 5-minute problem. So if I write please visit every other night down, I'm going to start generating thoughts. I know I'm dealing more than 4 units. I know I got to annualize my calculations. I'm getting kind of everything, and I'm appropriating how I'm going to work this problem out with my memory aid. Now, let's go through this memory aid. What does P stand for? It stands for potential gross income. Well, if I've got 10 units and they're $600 each, I've got $6,000 per month times 12 months. I got to annualize this. I got $72,000 as my potential gross income, 100% rented. That's how much I'm making per year, okay, potentially. Now, I've got vacancy. So my please visit every other night. My please, the P in please is potential gross income. My V in visit is vacancy, okay? It's expressed as a percent of the total potential gross income, okay? So in this case, it's 5% times 72,000. I get $3,600 if I got a 5% vacancy. Now, the E in every stands for effective gross income. And all I'm doing is subtracting what potentially I can make minus what vacancies I have. And I get 68,400. That's my effective gross income. So I'm up to please visit every. Potential gross income minus vacancy gives me effective gross income. Now, what's my next? Other night are my last two words. So other stands for operating expenses, okay? So the operating expenses, remember, are annualized, okay? They're annualized. Well, we're at 2,000 per month times 12 is going to give me 24,000 total dollars annually is my expenses. And if I subtract that from my effective gross income, I get my night. The N in night stands for net operating income, which is going to be $44,400. Okay, so let's circle back and review this. Please visit every other night. The P stands for potential gross income. That's 72,000. I got that by taking 10 units times 600 each times 12. That gives me 72,000. My vacancy, they give it to me at 5%. 5% of what? The potential gross income. That's $3,600. So I subtract that, I get my effective gross income. That stands for the E in every. And then my operating expenses, again, 2,000 per month times 12, 24,000. That's my other, or my O in other, gives me, and I subtract that from my effective gross income, gives me my net operating income, which is my N in night. So now that I have my net operating income at 44,400, all I have to do is shift gears and go to my IRV the appraiser short version formula. IRV the appraiser, nice guy. The I stands for income or net operating income equals the rate times value. So all I have to do here is take 44,400, that's my net operating income, my bottom line, divided by 10%. They give you that in the problem. That's your capitalization rate. If I divide that, I'm going to get 444,000, which is answer C. Okay? Listen, this is a long problem. You got to take your time and go line by line. This is the long version. Now, they may give you a short version where they give you the net operating income in the problem. So if they say an apartment building produces 44,400 as their net operating income and the capitalization rate is 10%, what's the value of the building? Well, obviously you don't have to go through the long version of please visit every other night. You just go straight into your IRV the appraiser and you take your 44,000. They give you the NOI. If they give that to you, you just work it out on the short version. But if they give you a long problem where they give you units, monthly rent, vacancy rates, operating expenses, cap rate, you're going to have to work it out. The long version, please visit every other night. Okay? Hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed this short version of the real estate income approach, working out a calculation. Remember, take your time, line by line, because they're going to put a play on word. They're going to put a none of the above because they know there's potentially you can make a tremendous amount of mistakes somewhere in that problem because there's so many steps. Okay, so take your time. Best wishes on your exam. Bye for now.